Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches, profe, ¿ya podemos dar inicio?
Buenas noches.
Perfecto. Bienvenidos chicos y chicas. Los parámetros de la sesión de hoy para Inglés Traducción A23 de Inglés de Enseñanza, clase número 10, Reprogramada. La sesión se graba y la misma la podrán ver nuevamente en la plataforma virtual. Les solicitamos que por favor silencien sus micrófonos y puedan activarlos cuando quieran hacer consultas o aportes con el permiso del docente. Le pedimos que mantengan su cámara activa. De no poder hacerlo, enviar su excusa por el Zoom del chat. De lo contrario, será retirado de la sesión y le serán restados puntos de la heterovaloración del docente. Mi rol como moderadora es facilitar y apoyar en la parte técnica al docente. Pueden hacer consultas por el chat personal o al privado. Les exhorto a tener bolígrafo y papel para hacer sus anotaciones y aprovechar al máximo esta sesión. La misma tendrá una duración de 120 minutos, impartida por la profesora Aylin Santana, con la clase Fonética 1. Puede dar inicio, profe.
Gracias. Okay, hello students. So today we're going to work with our last reading. Okay, reading number 2. A winner is a woman who never give up, by Nelson Mandela. Okay, review of the previous classes. So the last class was about the word and sentence stress. Okay, so you know what you have to do. Okay, you have to tell me about what do you know about it, or your short summary about the information that you received the last class. Okay, so in this case, the word and sentence stress contains syllables, as you know. So it can be only one syllable, or maybe two, or more than two syllables, depending on the different information that you receive in the class. Okay, so now es el momento en que ustedes me comparten su pequeño resumen, vamos a decir de esa manera, pequeño resumen sobre la clase pasada. ¿Qué nos quedó? ¿Qué escuchamos? ¿Qué nos llamó la atención para compartir con la clase? ¿Ok? Ok, Nicole. Gracias. Okay. Want to be the first one? Remember, you don't have to find the information in the internet. You have to use all the information that you received here in the class yesterday. Sorry, the last class. Todo lo que le quedó de la clase pasada, no hay que buscar en internet. ¿Ok? Todo lo que usted escuchó, lo que le llamó la atención. Vamos, es un paso rapidito para darle apertura al siguiente tema. Come on. Gislen, I don't know if you want to share something about the last class, or Victoriano, Magdalena, Nicole. Do you have any information to share with your classmates?
Last class we talked about word express. That is very essential because it affects the comprehension. Have effective communication. The word express también improve language skills.
Okay, great job, Gislen. Thank you so much. Who wants to be the next one? Victoriano, do you have something? Yes, no? Nicole? Magdalena? No? Nobody? Nada, entonces. ¿Sí o no? Okay. Okay, so for today, we have to go with the reading number 2, our last reading. And this reading is about the rhythm, okay? So the rhythm of English words is, I'm sorry, that's my bad. Sorry. Okay. So the reading of English is English words is closely linked with stress pattern in English. Once you know which word in the sentence needs stressing, you need to know which syllable to stress within each word. Okay? So remember that you have written in the platform. Um, let me explain more about this. Okay, so the written in phonetics refers to the pattern of stress and intonation, okay, in spoken languages. So it involves the arrangement in timing of syllables and the emphasized place of on certain words or parts of a word, okay? So in phonetics, written can be analyzed by looking at factors such as syllable duration or syllable pitch variation and the timing of stress and unstressed syllables, okay? So in the case of phonetics, rhythms refers to the organization and timing of a speech sounds in language, okay? So it involves the patterns of stress and unstressed syllables of well of variation and a pitch or duration and include in the intensity, okay? So one aspect of reading is the grouping of syllables into large units called feet, okay? So a foot is a combination of stress and unstressed syllables. Remember, it's not about the part of your body. It's a part of a sentence, okay? It's a part of a word. And with the stress syllables usually having more prominence or emphasize, okay? So different languages and dialects have their own specific patterns of it, such as the iambic pattern, or in English, or in stress and stressed, or thoracic pattern in Spanish, like stress or unstressed, okay? So another important element of reading, and it's the overall timing and pace of speech. So this can be vary between the different languages, okay? So with some languages have a faster tempo and other having a slower tempo, okay? So the duration of the individual sounds and pauses between words can also contribute to the perceived rhythm of a language, okay? So the pitch variation or the intonation is another component of reading. So this refers to the rise and fall or pitch in speech. We can convey meaning and different emotions, okay? So in some languages, such as, for example, Chinese or Mandarin, the pitch variation is crucial for distinguish between different words or words meanings, okay? Okay, so in the platform, you can find some information about it. So the reading of English words is closely linked with the stress patterns, as you know, okay? So you then need to learn how to use the syllables and read them alongside intonation in English to convey the exact meaning of your sentence and add substantially and emotion to your speech, okay? So in this case, the rhythm is the phonetic is studied throughout the use of various techniques, okay? And measurements, such as acoustic analysis and spectral or spectrograms, okay? So these tools allow researchers to analyze the timing, as you know, the pitch, the intensity, the intonation in the speech sounds that provide insights into the rhythmic patterns or different languages and dialects, okay? So overall rhythm in phonetics plays a crucial role in the prosody of language. So it's really important, influencing the natural flow and the musicality of the speech. So it contributes to the overall meaning and expression of spoken languages and can be very greatly between different languages and cultures. Okay, so wait, please, one second. Let me find out. Let me find. Uh-huh. Okay, so now with this information, let me share with you the first video, okay? Wait a second.
Hey everyone, welcome to elementalenglish.com. Today's
podcast is on stress and rhythm in American English pronunciation. Many students think that learning English is about learning grammar, consonants, vowels, and vocabulary. These form the basic foundation of a language. However, if you want to be understood when speaking American English, and if you want to understand native speakers, it is essential that you improve your stress and rhythm. Stress. Stressing means that speakers of English make certain syllables and words louder, longer, and higher in pitch. Basically, stressing means to emphasize a sound. Every word in English has just one syllable with a primary stress or emphasis. However, it is not only essential to stress certain syllables and words, but we must also de-stress other syllables and words. De-stressing means that speakers of English make certain syllables and words more relaxed and weaker. Examples, listen and repeat. Engineer. The second syllable is de-stressed, j, and the third syllable is stressed, near. So we say it, engineer. Engineer. English. The first syllable is stressed, ing, and the second syllable is slightly de-stressed, glish. English. Photograph. The first syllable is stressed, pho. The second syllable is de-stressed, it becomes da. And the third syllable is a secondary stress, it's somewhere in the middle, graph. Repeat, photograph. Photograph. Stressing and de-stressing syllables and words gives us rhythm in English. Rhythm. Rhythm is the musicality of English, the ups and downs, and the connected speech and the linking of words, which together change how we say sentences. Remember, speaking with correct rhythm and musicality is essential to being understood when you speak. Rhythm comes from the combination of the two types of stress in American English. First, syllable stress in words, as discussed previously, and word stress in sentences. Word stress in sentences. Americans stress words in sentences that are important to the meaning of the sentence. They carry the content of the sentence. Basically, if you took these content words out of the sentence, you would not understand the meaning of that sentence. Content words include main verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, negatives, WH words, and interjections. For example, listen and repeat. I have to go to school. I have to go to school. I want my brother to win. I want my brother to win. It's not the best idea. It's not the best idea. Function words. Remember, rhythm and musicality in your speech is not just about stressing, but also requires de-stressing, weakening. In English, we de-stress the non-essential, non-content words in a sentence called the function words. These function words are made weaker and sometimes practically disappear from a sentence. Function words include articles, conjunctions, prepositions, pronouns, and auxiliary verbs. Listen and repeat. The function words are written in lowercase. I have to go to school. I have to go to school. I want my brother to win. I want my brother to win. It's not the best idea. it's not the best idea. Notice I did not say, I have to go to school, but I said, I have to go to school. I said the function words quicker and more relaxed than the important content words. They almost become part of the content words that follow them. To go, to school. If I left out the non-essential function words from my sentences, you would still understand the general idea of what I'm saying. For example, have go school, want brother win, not best idea. In fact, we hear children speak like this all the time when they're learning to speak English, and we still understand their basic messages. Listen and repeat. She wants to play a game. She wants to play a game. I'd like you to join us for dinner. I'd like you to join us for dinner. We'll choose the winner on Saturday or Sunday. We'll choose the winner on Saturday or Sunday. Many of the students are going on vacation tomorrow. Many of the students are going on vacation tomorrow. Was this lesson helpful to you? Then feel free to share it with friends and family on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, so in the case of the rhythm of English, okay, the rhythm of English is often described as stress time, okay? So this means that the timing of the stress syllables tends to be more regular and predictable, okay? So while the time on stress syllables can vary. In stress time language like English, the duration between stress syllables tends to be more consistent, creative, and rhythmic patterns, okay? So in English, stress syllables are typical longer, louder, and have a higher than unstressed syllables, okay? So you have to take in mind these characteristics, okay? So in English, the stress syllables are typical longer, loudly, and higher pitch, okay? Unstressed syllables, on the other hand, are often shorter, okay? It's different, you can know the difference, right, between the both syllables. Quieter and have a lower pitch, okay? So the previous one, it's louder, it's longer, and higher pitch. And in this case, it's shorter, quieter, and have a lower pitch. So this contrast is prominent between stress and unstressed syllables, contribute to the rhythmic flow of English, okay? So English also exhibits a phenomenon called reduction, okay? Reduction or schwa. In this case, it's a combination that you can find in the APA chart, okay? So you can find the schwa symbol in unstressed syllables. So the schwa sound, in this case, the representation of the E, it's the A sound, is neutral. So unstressed vowel, sounds that often replace other vowel sounds in unstressed syllables. This reduction of the vowel sounds is on syllables can further and contribute to the rhythmic pattern of English. So the rhythm or the rhythm in this case of English is influenced by the patterns of stress within words as well as the pattern of stress phonetics. So in English, word typical have one primary stress, which falls on one of the syllables. In multi-syllable words, secondary stresses may also occur on certain syllables. So in connect speech process or in connect speech, English speakers often use a process called connect, okay? It's not the same as the previous one. The previous one is a reduction. And this, you have to connect this first process or use the assimilation, okay? So where sounds change or merge together to facilitate the smooth and efficient speech. So this process can affect the rhythm of English, as they can alter the time and pronunciation of individual sounds and the individual syllables, okay? So it is important to know that while English is general considered as a stress time language, okay? There can be variations in written depending on factors such as, for example, the ancient or individual speaking styles and the specific context of the speech, okay? So, you can find some important aspects that you have to take in mind at the moment to try to understand this kind of information. Okay, so the first one is about the stress time nation. So in English, it's considered as a stress time language where the time in between stress syllables tends to be more regular and predictable and creating a rhythmic pattern. Okay, in the case of the stress syllables, the stress syllables in English are typically longer, louder, and have a higher pitch compared to unstressed syllables. So they carry more prominence and contribute to the rhythmic flow of the language. And on the case of the unstressed syllables, in English are often shorter, okay, quieter, and have a lower pitch. They provide a contrast with stress syllables and contribute to the rhythmic pattern. The schwa sound, okay? So in English, it's a reduction of a vowel sounds in unstressed syllables, often replaced by the neutral in unstressed vowel sound called schwa. In this case, as we know, that is the representation of the E. And this reduction further contributes to the rhythmic pattern of English. And the other one is about the stress pattern. In English word, typical have one primary stress, which fall on one of the syllables. In multi-syllable words, in secondary stresses may also occur on 13 syllables. This stress patterns contribute to the overall rhythm and flow of English. And the other one is about the connect speech processes. And in connect speech, the English speakers often use a process like assimilation or where the sound change or merge together to facilitate the smooth and efficient speech, okay? And the last one is about the variations. So what in English, general is considered a stress time language. There can be variations in the rhythm depending on factors such as the accent, the individual speaking style, and the specific content of the speech. So understanding these important aspects that we have to take in mind about the rhythm of English can help in developing accurate pronunciation, improving spoken fluency, and enhancing overall communication skills in the language. So it's really important. So with this information, let me share with you the first part of the question that we have to solve. Okay, so wait me some seconds. Okay, so you know that you have to do what you have to do, right? You have to use the information that you can find in a platform in the reading number 2. And if you feel that you need to find more information to complain or complete the information that you have, you can use the I don't have problem with this, okay? So let me know when you're ready. Okay, who's ready? Who has the first question? The first answer for it. What is rhythm and phonetics? What is rhythm and phonetics? Nobody?
Write in phonetic refer the pattern of timing and duration in speech.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Nicole. So in rhythm in phonetics, or the reading in phonetics, refers to the pattern and timing of sounds. So in the speech, right? So it involves the organization of syllables, the duration of vowels and the consonants, and the overall flows and cadence of the speech. Okay. Number two, can rhythm vary among individuals and nations? Yes, no, why? Who has the answer?
Yes, rhythm can indeed vary among individuals and accents, both individual speaking styles and regional accents can influence the rhythmic pattern of a speech.
Okay, great. Thank you, Giselle. So yes, the rhythm can vary among individuals and across different regional actions. So the factors like speaking style, dialect, and cultural influences can influence the specific rhythmic characteristics in phonetics. Okay. Number three, what is the relationship between intonation and rhythm? Who has the answer? Nobody?
Right. And the relationships between international and rates reading list is how they work together to create the melodic and temporal qualities of speech.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. Okay, so yeah, the intonation and the rhythm are closely, okay? So in phonetics. So the rise and fall of pitch patterns contribute to the rhythmic flow of the speech and help convey meaning and emphasize, okay? Number four, how do vowel duration contribute to rhythm? Who has the answer?
Vowel duration contribute to reading by influencing syllable timing, stresses, partners, intonation, tempo, and overall rhythmic partners in spoken language.
Okay, thank you, Dayani. So the vowel durations play an important role in rhythm by creating contrast between stressed and unstressed syllables. So in the case of the stressed vowels are typical longer in duration, while unstressed vowels are shorter. Okay, so you can take the difference between stressed and unstressed vowels. Okay, number five. What type of rhythm does in English have? Those English have? Who has the answer?
English is often classified as a test times language is then of its reading patterns. This means that the distinction between strict syllables tend to be related consistent.
Okay, Nicole, thank you. Okay, English is considered a stress time language. Okay, so this means that the time in between stress syllables tend to be more regular, while time in between while the unstressed syllables may vary in duration. Okay, number 6. What is the role of weak syllables in English rhythm? Who has the answer? Number 6.
Weak syllables in English contribute to the rhythmic alteration between stressed and unstressed syllables, which characterize the stress time rhythm of the language.
Okay, usually, okay. So the weak syllable, which are often unstressed or reduced, and it's really important in shaping of the rhythm of English. And they create the rhythmic contrast with stress syllables and contribute to the overall flow and pattern of the speech. Okay. Number 7. How does stress placement affect the rhythm of English? Who has the answer?
Stress placement in English affect the rhythmic alteration, syllable duration, word meaning, and intonation patterns.
Okay, you play. Great. Okay, so in English has a regular stress pattern, but there can be variations based on the different factors like word length or emphasize and sentence structure. So some words may have more than one stress syllable or exhibited secondary stresses. Okay, and maybe you can add in the rhythmic variation to the language. Okay, number 8. How are stress and unstressed syllables distinguished in English?
Stressed and unstressed syllables are distinguished in English primarily through variation in duration, pitch, and intensity.
Okay, thank you, Diana. That's correct. So the stressed syllables in English are typical pronounced with more emphasis, higher pitch, and longer duration. So unstressed syllables are often shorter and less prominent and may have reduced vowel quality. Okay, so that's correct, Diana. Okay, so now let me talk about the next important information that you can find in the platform. That is about the, let me find information here. It's about the, it's about the rhythm of a stress time language. So in the reading, you can find a short information about it. And Okay, so in the reading you can find certain information and says that the English has a regular rhythm with the sounds of the language organized around the stress syllables. So in English, it's also a stress time language, which means that there is a 12 time spent on each stress within a sentence. Okay, so the rhythm of a stress time language, including in English, the rhythm is characterized by the regular spacing of the stress syllables, while the timing of unstressed syllables can vary. So you can find some important aspects inside this information. So the first one is about the regularity of stress syllables. So in the case of the stress time languages, such as English, stress syllables are typically spaced out at more or less regular intervals. Okay, so this means that the time between stress syllables remains relatively constant and creating a rhythmic pattern. Okay, number two, unstressed syllables. In the case of the unstressed syllables, in stress time language tend to be more shorter and less prominent than stressed syllables. So the duration of the unstressed syllables can vary, and they are often squeezed between stressed syllables and resulting in a more compressed and faster rhythm. Okay. Number three, syllable reduction. Okay, so stress time language often exhibit the syllable reduction. Okay, so where unstressed syllables are pronounced with reduced vowel quality or even omit entirely. So this reduction helps maintain the regularity of the stressed syllables, and it contributes to the overall rhythm. Number four, connect speech process. So in English, the stress time language often involve connect speech process such as the assimilation, allison, and linking. So where sounds and syllables merge together to facilitate smoother and more efficient speech. And this process can further influence the rhythm and timing of process time languages. Okay. Number five, variation in stress placement. Okay. So while stress time languages generally have a regular pattern of stress syllables, and there can be variations based on the factors such as length, emphasis, and sentence structure. Okay, in this case, some words may have more than one stress syllables or exhibit a secondary stress, which can affect the rhythm. Okay, and the last one is about the intonation and the pitch. And in stress time language, intonation and pitch variation played a significant or really important role in a combined meaning and adding important rhythmical elements. So these writes on four pitch patterns contribute to the overall rhythm role of the speech. So it's in this case important that the rhythm of the stress time language can help to the learners develop a natural and fluent pronunciation as well as comprehend and produce a speech with appropriate stress and timing patterns. Okay, so it is important to know that the variations and the Asians may influence a specific rhythm or the characteristic that exists in the rhythm within the stress time language. Okay, the other information that you can use as a helpful or as a tool in the reading is about the weak syllables and rhythm. Okay, so all of this means that on the stress, this is information that you can find in the pattern. Okay, syllables in English often sound very weak and can sometimes barely be heard at all. Okay, so these words are said to have a weak form, and the speaker reduces the vowel and rushes over the sounds in order to reach the next stress word, and speakers do this to maintain important rhythm of English. Okay, so you can find another important information here, but now let me share with you the second video for this class. Okay, so wait me some seconds. Okay, Victoria, no worries about it. Okay. like a practice, so you have to pay attention and take some notes about it to use as a practice at home.
Hey everyone,
Welcome to elementalenglish.com. Today's lesson is rhythm practice, stress and de-stress, an English pronunciation lesson. Introduction. Every language has its own music or rhythm. So if you speak English with the music of your first language, others may have a hard time understanding you. For example, in American English, we say the name of those little green bean snacks that we get at Japanese restaurants as edamame by de-stressing the second syllable and stressing the third syllable. In Japanese, however, a language where syllables carry equal stress, they would say it something more like edamame. So the same exact word completely changes because of the music of each language. The rhythm of English. The rhythm of English is created by stressing some words and de-stressing others. First, we stress content words, which carry meaning in a sentence. These include nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs, interjections, WH words, and negatives. Stress means we say a syllable or word longer, louder, and higher in pitch. Second, we also de-stress function words, typically little words, which are more about the grammar and structure of the sentence. These include prepositions, pronouns, articles, conjunctions, and auxiliary verbs. Let's practice the rhythm of English by playing with the words in a sentence. If I spoke like a little child using only content words, notice that you would still understand me despite the incorrect grammar. For example, want new iPhone. Here, I stress the verb, adjective, and noun and said each of them nice and clearly on the beat. Want new iPhone. Now, let's add some function words for correct grammar and notice how the musical beat of the content words stays the same. I want a new iPhone. Did you hear that the same three content words still carried the same beat of the music of the sentence? This is because native English speakers say those de-stressed function words very quickly. Listen again. Want new iPhone. I want a new iPhone. This stressing and de-stressing is part of what creates the music of English. This is why if you speak English with the music of your first language, it may create confusion for the listener. Now, let's play with a few more sentences, but this time, let's say them how we would speak in everyday life. Can you still hear the same musical beat in the rhythm of English? Listen and repeat. Want get new iPhone. I want to get a new iPhone. Notice how want to became wanna. Search word Google. Search the word on Google. Find man Facebook. You can find the man on Facebook. Order Amazon. I'll order it on Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe to the Elemental English channel on YouTube. Ask your questions in the comments.
Syllables in my computer. Let's go. Okay, and the last information that you can find in the bathroom, it's about the word syllables are written. And so in this case, with syllable, it's really important, or have a really important role in shaping the rhythm of a language. Okay, so including stress time language. So you can find some important aspects in this information. If the first one, it's about the weak syllable. So in this case, the weak syllable, also known as unstressed or reduced. Remember that if you want to use a non-stress or stress syllables, you can use the different concepts about the connection or connect or the reduce. Okay, so and or reduce syllables and are syllables that receive less emphasis, o sea, menos, ¿verdad? Or prominence compared to the stress syllables. So these syllables often contain the reduced vowel sounds, and such as, for example, the schwa sounds, okay, in English. Number two, rhythmic contrast. So the presence of a weak syllable creates a rhythmic contrast with the stress syllables in stress time language. So the alternation between the stress and a weak syllable contributes to the rhythm or to the rhythmic flow and pattern of the language, okay? Number three, timing and duration. So weak syllables are typical shorter in duration, okay? Compared to the stress syllables. So you know that in the case of the weak syllables, es menos tiempo, es más corto a la otra, ¿verdad? So they are often more quickly articulate and may have less vocal intensity. Okay. Number four, compression and extension. So in stress time language, weak syllables can be compressed and or expanded to fit into the regular rhythm of the stress syllables. So this flexibility in timing allows for the maintenance of the rhythmic regularity. Okay. And number five, syllable reduction. So the weak syllables in stress time language often undergo reduction, where vowels are reduced in quality or even omitted. So this reduction helps streamline the speech and maintain the rhythmic pattern. Number six, connect speech process. So the weak syllables are subject to various connect speech process, such as the assimilation, the elision, and where the sounds and syllables merge or are omitted to facilitate the smoother speech. Okay, so this process affects the type and pronunciation of weak syllable, contributing to the overall rhythm. Number seven, and last one. So in this case, important to talk about the influence on intonation. Okay, it's really important. So weak syllables can affect the intonation and pitch patterns in stress time language. So the rise and fall of pitch often coincide with stress syllables, and while weak syllables neural or lower pitch. So understanding the role that a weak syllable have in the rhythm is crucial to know that, okay, for accurate pronunciation and natural sound speech in stress time language. So proper management of weak syllables help to maintain the rhythmic structure and contribute to the overall fluency and legibility of the information, okay? So it's really important. So with this information, let me share with you the last video for this class, and then you need to solve some questions, okay? The last questions for this part, okay? So we can solve it.
Hey everyone, this is Teacher Ryan, and today we're going to talk about rhythm. Okay, so in English, in a sentence, we have content words and we have function words. Okay, the content words are the words with the information, the really important words, the subject, the verb, the object, right? Really important words. And then the function words are the ones like the or a or in or on, right? The words that kind of give us a little bit of meaning, but they're not really all the information, okay? So practice this at home. Don't practice on a bus. Don't practice at a restaurant. Go home, watch a video, and go practice in your bathroom mirror, okay? Here we go. We've got mice eat cheese. You ready? Mice eat cheese. Easy. Okay, but not all sentences are that easy. Here we go. So we're going to add a function word. The mice eat cheese. The mice eat cheese. Right? I'm sure you can say that. That's not hard. Okay? And the next one, number 3, we're going to add another the. Here we go. The mice eat the cheese. The mice eat the cheese. Not too hard. Okay, in the next one, number 4, we're going to add will and the. Here we go. The mice will eat the cheese. The mice will eat the cheese. Okay, so we're adding words, but our rhythm, the rhythm or the music of the sentence is kind of staying the same. The mice will eat the cheese. The mice will eat the cheese. Okay, let's look at number 5. Now we're getting a little bit harder. Okay, we have the mice will have eaten the cheese. Okay, here we go. The mice will have eaten the cheese. The mice will have eaten the cheese. Okay, now you try. The mice will have eaten the cheese. The mice will have eaten the cheese. Okay, so we have will have eaten, will have eaten. And the last one. Now, the last one is even a little bit hard for me. But we want to keep the stress on each content word so we have the right rhythm. Here we go. The mice might have been eating the cheese. The mice might have been eating the cheese. Woo! So we have might have been eating. Might have been eating. Might have been eating. Okay? Might have been eating. Oh, that one was blue. So the mice might have been eating the cheese. The mice might have been eating the cheese. Okay, so try this at home. Just to practice kind of pushing those function words together and making sure that the content words are the loudest and clearest part of your sentence. This will help you sound more like a native speaker of English. So if you have any questions or you want me to make more videos like this, you have a suggestion for a new video, go to the comments, type a comment for me, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you're not already on my subscription list. Okay, everyone, have a great
Okay, so now with this information, I'm considering that you can solve the last part for the questions, okay? So let me share with you the questions. Okay, so remember that you have the reading and science. About that, you need to look for more information. Internet. Okay, so let me know when you're ready. Okay, who's ready? Question number 1. What is the stress time language? Hmm? Who has answered?
Stressing language is a type of language in which reading and intonation are determined by this stress or emphasis on certain syllables or words primarily within a sentence.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Okay, so a stress time language is a type of language where the time in between stress syllables tends to be more regular, while the time in between unstressed syllables can vary. So in English, it is an example of stress time language, so language English, okay? Number 2, how does rhythm and stress time language differ from syllables time languages? Who has this answer? Nobody?
Differs primarily in the way syllables are grouped and the timing between a stress and unstressed syllables.
Okay, thank you, Giselle. Okay, so in stress time language, such as in English, okay, the rhythm is characterized by a more regular spacing of the stress syllables. Okay, so syllables are compressed or expanded to fit into a regular stress pattern. And in contrast, the syllable time language have a more even time in between the syllables. Okay. Question number 3. What is the role of unstressed syllables in the rhythm of the stress time language? Who has his answer?
13 syllables play a crucial role in shaping the reading and overall cadence of speech.
Okay, Nicole, thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, unstressed syllables in stress time language are typical shorter, okay, in duration and receive less emphasis compared to the stress syllables. So they contribute to the rhythm by creating a contrast with the stress syllables and maintain the overall flow of the speech. Okay. Number 4, how does intonations relate to the rhythm of the stress time languages?
Intonation and reading are closely related as aspects of spoken language, and they both contribute to the overall prosody of speech.
Okay, Diane, thank you. So yeah, intonations refers to the variation in pitch. It's closely linked to the rhythm of the first time languages, and rising and falling pitch patterns often coincide with the strict syllables and contributing to the rhythmic flow and meaning of a speech. Number 5, what are weak syllables?
Are syllables in a word or phrase that receive less emphasis or prominence in speech compared to a stressed syllable.
Okay, Gislin, thank you. So yeah, the weak syllables, or also known as unstressed syllables, are syllables that receive the emphasis or receive the prominence in speech. Okay, so they often have a reduced vowel quality and shorter duration compared to the stressed syllables. Okay, number 6. How do weak syllables contribute to rhythm?
Their contribution to reading are intertwined with the theming and emphasis of stressed syllable.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. So yeah, the weak syllables play an important role in shaping the rhythm of speech. Okay, so they create a rhythmic contrast with stress syllables and help maintain the overall flow of or the pattern in speech. Okay, number 7. Are weak syllables always present in every word or phrase? Yes, no, why? Who has the answer? Who has the answer? Nobody?
Esa es la 7, teacher.
Number 7.
Weak syllables are not always present in every word or phrase. The presence of weak syllable depends on the specific word, the syllable structure, and the linguistic context.
Okay, Diane, thank you so much. So yeah, that's correct, Diane. So not. The answer is not. Every word or phrase will have a weak syllable. Okay? So as it depends on the stress pattern and structure of the specific language or nutrient. Okay? So however, when the weak syllables are commonly found in many languages and played an important role in rhythm. Okay? So it's really important. Number 8. How do weak syllables affect the timing and reading of the speech? Who has the last answer?
They interact with express syllables to create a rhythmic pattern that gives the language its characteristic musicality and flow.
Okay, thank you, Giselle. So yeah, the weak syllables be shorter and less prominent. Okay, so all for the regular spacing of express syllables in the rhythm of the speech. So they provide a rhythmic contrast and contribute to the flow and would contribute to the cadence of the spoken language. Okay. Okay. So okay. So now you know what you have to do. Yeah. You have to bring me a short summary about all the information that you received here today in a class, all the information that you can hear in the video, and all the information that you have in the classroom, ¿ok? Todo lo que usted escuchó, lo que le llamó la atención, lo que le quedó, eso es lo que vamos a empezar a compartir. Así que todos tenemos que hablar, ¿ok? Lo que escuchó, algo escuchó en los videos, algo vio, algo leyó, algo le llamó la atención. Y este es el momento, ¿ok? No tiene que buscar en internet, no tiene que revisar nada. Lo que le quedó, lo que escuchó, eso es lo que vamos a compartir. ¿Ok? Come on. Who wants to be the first one? Mm. Come on, you can do it. I know it.
Bueno, I think
Mhm.
that English Rhythm is very essential because for have effective communication, it helps to convey meaning and dynamically.
Go ahead, Islin. You can do it. I know it. You tried. It's the best thing that you can do. Try it, okay? It's the most important thing. No worry if you don't have a good pronunciation. No worry if you don't sound good. You have to try, okay? This is the key, the main key of to learn or how to learn in language, okay? So thank you, Islin. And really, it's really important. If you want to know or if you want to communicate something, you have to do it in the best way, because maybe you can think that you can that you have to, or you share something that you know it's correctly, but you don't do in the correct way, so the people they can maybe can understand what you say. So it's really important, this kind of information. Who's the next one? Who's the next one?
Lo puedo decir en español.
Okay, but you know the rules, right? Okay, go ahead, Dianis.
Es importante, como siempre, es importante para tener una buena comprensión, pronunciación y una buena expresión en el inglés.
Okay, that's correct, Dianis.
Ya.
Okay, I understand that. Thank you so much, Dianis.
Es que estaba nerviosa.
¿Por qué? Aquí tenemos 10 clases juntos. ¿Cuál es el nervio? ¿Ah? No
Porque me da pena, teacher.
¿Qué le da pena? No entiendo qué es lo que le da pena.
Mi pronunciación y no sé, me da pena.
Voy a darte pena. Acuérdate que estás aprendiendo. ¿Ok? Cuando estamos aprendiendo, muchas veces no sonamos bien. No nos entendemos. No hablamos bien. Pero tú lo estás haciendo, lo estás intentando. Así que no te preocupes. En este momento no te preocupes por la pronunciación, por la entonación, por nada de eso. Preocúpate por intentarlo. Listo. Okay. Who's the next one? Nicole.
Bueno, yo también voy a hablar en español.
Okay. Okay.
Pues, que en inglés es muy diferente que en el español, pues que hay que tener en cuenta el ritmo y la sincronización de cada vocal y cada sílaba para poder complementar las sílabas como es.
Ok, yo difiero contigo, la verdad. Yo siento que el español es un poquito más complicado en cuanto a escritura y todas esas cosas. Para mí el español es más complicado. Pero ok, está bien, estamos aprendiendo. Está bien. Thank you, Nicole. Sarai, do you want to share something with your classmates?
Sí, teacher.
Okay.
Para mí siento que es importante
No te había visto.
a la hora de formular las oraciones, que haya entonación, que haya el ritmo, que vi en los videos que hay palabras o conjunction que no se escuchan tanto en una oración, y creo que algunos no lo escuchamos, pero los que ya hablan ya saben que está dentro de esa oración, y ya uno aprendiendo va identificando cuando va en la oración.
Exacto, Sarai. Así mismo es. Es que más que nada el inglés es una cuestión de oído, ¿verdad? Ya cuando nuestro oído está acostumbrado, digamos que esto, por lo menos yo trabajo con niños, ¿no? mis niños son pequeños, muchos de ellos hablan inglés, otros no. Al principio del año no tenían nada de inglés. Hoy, que estamos casi ya terminando el segundo trimestre, pues son niños que no te van a hablar en inglés, pero si tú les hablas en inglés, ellos entienden que tú les estás pidiendo. Entonces, la costumbre, el oído, te va ayudando a comprender y a entender qué es lo que estamos haciendo, ¿no? Entonces, si tú te pones digamos, un objetivo, que esta semana todo lo que escuche, todas las músicas que vea, las músicas que escuche y las películas que vea, las voy a poner en inglés. Y mi oído se va a ir acostumbrando poco a poco. Ya más adelante dice, ok, esto yo lo entendí, esto yo sé que fue lo que me dijeron ahí. Yo leí eso, yo lo entendí. Entonces son cuestiones que vayan practicando. Pero primero, empezar por ti, ¿no? Yo quiero hacer esto, yo lo voy a hacer. Porque si no tomamos esa decisión, no estamos haciendo absolutamente nada. ¿Ok? Victoriano. Ay, Victoriano. Okay. Okay, so remember that you can find some important aspects inside the reading. That the first one is about the rhythm of English. The second one is about the rhythm of the first-time language. And the last one is about the weak syllables and rhythm. Okay, so in conclusion, the rhythm of English is a first-time rhythm. Okay, and English is known for its regular pacing of the stress syllables, while the time in between non-stress syllables can vary. So it's really important to take the time and try to read all the information and try to put in practice, okay? Maybe you can put in practice with, maybe you can take some words and you can just pronounce at home and you can tell the difference with the time, okay? So, let me conclude the presentation. Here. Don't study because you need to. Study because knowledge is power. Study because they can never take it away from you. Study because you want to know more. Study because it enhances you. And study because it grows you. So it's up to you. Okay? Es tu decisión. Listo. Okay, student. Esta es nuestra última clase. Ok, yo espero que hayan disfrutado las clases que hemos tenido. Espero realmente que la información que yo les compartí haya llegado, que la hayan puesto en práctica y que pues estén aprendiendo. Recuerden que esto es decisión de ustedes. Si ustedes no ponen de su parte, no estamos haciendo nada. Espero verlos próximamente. Y pues nada, espero les vaya súper bien y sigan estudiando. Ok. So with this information, I think that is all for today. Have a great week and nos vemos en algún otro momento. Bye.
Con el permiso de la profesora, damos por terminada la sesión. Hasta mañana.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Bye, Dayani.